Hi there, and welcome back to the Practice Life. I love talking about practices. I really do. The Practice Life, where we are consciously choosing our practices and refining them and tweaking them rather than just walking through life willy nilly, practicing unconsciously like a leaf on the wind, being blown about, and then complaining because our results, our life experience isn't all it could be. But that's not us because we're living the practice life. I'm calling today's episode the Kardashian test. I love that title. So we're gearing up here in Sherry Salata land for Saturday's big event. It is a wealth consciousness immersion called Rewiring for Riches. And there will be 3 sessions on Saturday and a follow up session on Tuesday. And the link will be in the show notes. So you can just sign right up for that. It's $197 for the immersion, and it's going to be great. We're gonna do some coding. We're gonna rewire. And so today, I thought in this episode, I talk a little bit about some training we had early on. And so I call this the Kardashian test because I'm going to suggest that you use that to see kind of where your beliefs are sitting around wealth and luxury and wealthy people and trying and getting an insight into what is keeping you from wealth. It, unless you're a wealthy person, then listen, then you inspire us all. The Kardashian test really is about when you think of the Kardashians and you think of their fancy stuff and their houses and their planes, and you hear that Kylie's a billionaire and now this one's a billionaire, and Chris is the ultimate momager, managing her daughters, and when you think about them and their financial windfall, their financial success, you instantly go into judgment. You instantly go into judgment. You think, you turn up your nose at them. You think they're not worthy. You think that they're materialistic. You think they reflect everything bad about the world. Like you go on a tear. And I am going to suggest that that is good information for you. That is good information for you, that the experience of seeing so much wealth focused upon those women is so you're repelled by it, or you find yourself just instantly going into judgment, kind of tells you that you have a lot of moral limiting beliefs around stuff, around money, around resources, around luxury, around things, around wealth. And you assign certain traits or characteristics to people who have it. You assume they're selfish. You assume that they're hoarding all the goods that could be used to help other people. And I just want, listen, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's good information for you to see what your reaction is to getting a window into how a wealthy person lives and what kinds of things a wealthy person has. And so if you fail the Kardashian test, like here's to me what would be passing the Kardashian test. You're neutral. You say good for them. I'm sure they give a lot to charity. I'm sure that they help a lot of people. Good for them. Good for them. That to me is passing the test. And how about for extra credit? And I want some of that, because wealth is freedom, money is liberation, money's fun. It is green energy, as my friend Christy Whitman says. I love that. It's green energy. It's green energy. And you get to do things with it. You can buy a house you want. You can buy a boat you want. You can travel the world. You can throw great parties. You can do all kinds of fun things with green energy. And you having all the green energy, millions and millions and millions, doesn't take it out of the pocket of somebody else, contrary to what the moral police would say to you. And number two, I would say, we don't know what people do with their green energy. We don't know who's sharing it. And requiring somebody to be generous in order to be worthy of wealth, there's a sticky wicket there. There's a sticky wicket there. And so if you find yourself becoming the moral police anytime you are around people who have a lot of wealth and luxury, it's something to look at, because underlying that judgment of their wrongness are limiting beliefs you have about your own relationship to money, to green energy, to wealth, to luxury, to resources. And that's good for you to know. Until you see that about yourself, you can't release it. You can't release it. And, I continue to find in my own life that the more I set myself up as judge and jury, the more I keep the things I want from me. That is not the best use of my time, judging other people. It is not. The best use of my time is tending to my own garden and doing my own expansive work and liberating myself from how I was set up. We tend to entangle luxury with moral superiority, meaning, like for instance, we were all young and maybe there were wealthy people in your town and you weren't one of them. And they got into a better school. They went to a nice country club. They had a pool, drove in fancy cars, whatever it was. And because of the training, there's a part of you, instead of being excited, like, look what's available in this human life. I want some of that. Instead of being trained that way, we were trained to, that's not you. We're not the haves. We're the have nots. And they're not really nice people. And it's, people who have a lot, that we can be morally superior to them because we may not be rich, but we know right from wrong. However we played that game, we were set up to not instead of understanding that we could have what we want too, and here are the steps, here are the universal laws to get it. Instead of that, we were set up to assume we're going to be a have not and we'll sit in our moral superiority and judge other people. Think about the things that were said to you or said around you culturally. Money doesn't grow on trees. Oh, you can have some things if you work really, 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 really hard for them. That, yeah, they're rich. They're rich. They are the haves. You are the have nots. That kind of thinking, those kind of beliefs, that is what I call the setup. You are now set up to hold yourself apart from the fun stuff of life, the green energy, the resources, the freedom to do what you want, the freedom to have what you want, the freedom to share what you want. You have now separated yourself from the flow of abundance that belongs to everyone. It's like here's the river of abundance and you have turned your back on it and you have just said, I don't care. That's not for me. And besides, the people who go in the river of abundance, they have this, that, and this and the other wrong with them. That's what I'm saying. That's what the Kardashian test is. Because I think where we want to get, so we are truly in alignment with the flow of well being and the river of abundance, I think where we want to get is at least to neutral, not judging people for their wealth, not casting aspersions at their character for their wealth, realizing that we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. They may be giving gazillions away. We don't know. What's important is that we tend to our own belief system and that we loosen up that crusty thing that we've developed around money and wealth. And we start getting ourselves a little giddy. This is fun. This is fun to attract resources. It's fun to attract this energy. It's fun to be able to buy whatever I want. It's fun to do that. And buying whatever I want, there isn't a moral piece to that. There isn't. And if you're arguing with me while you're listening to me, there's some resistance. Let go of that resistance. I say, let go of that resistance. And I speak from what I know. I grew up middle class, working family. I come from working people, Waukegan, Illinois, working people. And my grandparents and great grandparents, working people from the old country, Poland and Lithuania and Sweden and Canada and Scotland and Ireland, working people, all of them poor, all of them poor. My dad was the first one to go to college. And, our middle classness was a big boot up from where they came from. And so we were kind of set up. My Uncle Ron, who married my Auntie Marge, my dad's sister, became an orthodontist, went to school, worked, went to school, supported his family. And orthodontists at the time could haul in the dough, right? So he became our marker for what wealth and luxury looked like. Had a beautiful big house with a pool and a tennis court and belonged to wonderful country clubs and always, just a beacon of this could be you. And so for us kids looking at Uncle Ron, we would say, I want some of that. And most of us have accomplished that because we had an example. What does it look like to have riches? What does it look like to have wealth? And I would say to a person, that shifted the wealth story in our family, where we had an example of a wonderful, wonderful couple, my aunt and uncle, who, had catapulted themselves into wealth and riches. And it was a good thing. And that shifted that wealth story for us. So I say these are complicated themes and complicated beliefs and complicated patterns, but leaning into less judgment, more openness, less crustiness, more enthusiasm is one of the ways we can begin to liberate ourselves from the chains of less than and have not. That's how we begin. And if you're interested in learning more, join me Saturday, May 3rd for Rewiring for Riches, a wealth consciousness immersion. It's going to be great. We're going to recode things. And the link will be in the show notes. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take that Kardashian test. I'm telling you, it's going to tell you so much.